Hey everybody, welcome back to a very quick look at a new MOC, or rather a few new MOCs if you will. This is the brand new Separatist Droid Battle Pack that we just released the instructions for on BrickVault.toys. This includes the STAP, which means Single Trooper Aerial Platform. That's these little guys, both in the Trade Federation brown and the Separatist dark blue color. We see these in Star Wars Episode 1 for example, but also in a lot of the Clone Wars episodes. We also have the Dwarf Spider Droid seen in Episode 2 or the Clone Wars for example, and of course the beloved Droideka, that I think doesn't need an introduction, but it's basically everyone's favorite droid from the Separatist, and I don't blame you. These droids have been designed by a new builder joining the store, who goes by the handle The Trending Brick, who told me that he was a fan of BrickVault since the early days and even got to visit the original studio in the US, which I thought was a fun anecdote. These droids are basically an update to our existing droid battle pack, which was designed by Jack and Charlie back then. I'm sure you know who that is. This new battle pack has instructions to it, of course, like all our MOC releases do, but of course we're aware such small MOCs are probably not the hardest to reverse engineer from images, especially since our community is very skilled, specifically the STAP for example. But if you still want to support us and the builders we work with, like the Trending Brick, you can find the building instructions on BrickVault.toys or via the link in the video description. And I'm sure some of the techniques used here, especially for the Droideka and Dwarf Spider Droid, will still surprise you, and you'll probably won't expect that in these small builds. Getting back to the models, they are so small that I don't think you'll need the dimensions here at all, but if you do, you can find them on BrickVault.toys. But to still give you a rough idea of the size, here's my sock that you can also find on Brick. Just kidding. Anyway, starting with the STAP comes with a little transparent stand that can easily be removed to fly just the STAP around. I like the use of the Technic connector in here. The little wings are 1x1 round tiles, and the build for the head, so to speak, is really nicely coming together. The droid holds onto the STAP with the bar piece here, and the STAP also comes with a small extension on the droid's feet to make it even more accurate. And of course we also have the blue version here. That's also the only build that I have the previous BrickVault version of in the studio to compare to. I have to say, especially next to the older version, this one looks worlds better. It's the exact same build as the brown one, just with different colors, so nothing new to see here. And moving on to the Droideka, or also called Destroyer Droid, I think this, together with the TIE Fighter, Republic Gunship and AT-AT, has gotta be the most designed thing in the LEGO Star Wars community. This also leads to a lot of competition obviously, but without exaggerating or defending the model because it's for BrickVault, I have to say this is the best version I have ever seen in Minifig scale. Of course Minifig scale is a spectrum and not just one specific scale. You can definitely argue it's on the larger side of Minifig scale, but in my opinion getting all the right details in it justifies the size, which is basically the same size LEGO uses for their Droidekas as well. What stands out with this version is definitely not just one detail. The legs use the flat silver horn pieces. They are connected to what I think is the best depiction of this round section for the Droideka. Looks super recognizable and has some interesting techniques in this small space, believe it or not. The cannons use candle pieces in silver, and they are connected to paint roller elements, which have this little extension on it to look like cables. I just love this small mechanical detail. I think the curvature of the back is really well done. It's 2 studs wide compared to a lot of MOCs out there who has this just 1 stud wide. Compared to a minifig that is also 2 studs wide, this seems to make much more sense. Brown Exoforce hands are used to depict some brown armor on the shoulders, and we also have the shield generators recreated here using round tiles. The Droideka can also be posed a bit. The top part can technically also rotate on the hips to pose it like it's looking towards one side, but the best part is that it's also possible to fold it somewhat into its rolling position, and doing so right now so you can see what it takes, I gotta say it's fairly quick, and folding up the cannons like that is actually even accurate to the movie. If you're doing it a bit quicker, it almost looks alive. This is by the way the first time I'm doing it here. It can almost even roll if you give it a bit of a push. Really nicely done. Alright, on to the last droid, the Dwarf Spider Droid, also a character that was recreated a lot in the community, and again, this might just be the best one out there. And I gotta even say, this is perfect. I can't think of anything I would improve here. The use of all the silver pieces in this small build makes it look so mechanical and cool, I love that. The rounded head is really well done using relatively new pieces, but the best thing about this are the eyes. They are super well done, looks exactly like it should, and the trending brick even included something that no other Spider Droid does, and you therefore maybe didn't even know was there, but the smaller eyes in the center. They fill up the space here and provide that bit of extra detail that makes it stand out. This build is super sturdy for its size too, especially if you use new pieces for all the clip connections. It will hold all positions. The legs naturally fold into this position, so you don't have to adjust any of the joints in the legs except for the main clip to the body. It uses the antenna pieces on the legs and exoforce clips, which makes for some cool cable detailing that is super accurate. The feet even recreate the 3 toes of the droid. I have to really give it to the trending brick. Although these are so small, I think these are as close to perfect as you can get. It took him quite some time to perfect them and find the right parts everywhere, but the result is outstanding and probably the best that's possible using just regular Lego elements. Now let's put them next to some of the other droid vehicles. They look really cool all together like this. I'm missing just a few to make this an almost complete Separatist collection. I might have to get the rest as well. But yeah, that's it for this week's release, a really small one, but it really packs a punch. Again, I know my community is really talented and can easily re-engineer some of these, but if you still want to support us, the link is in the description below. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one at BrickVault.